but definitely I can be sure that I'm not going to taste the same kind of, food that my mom makes. It's just not going to be the same. And I'm definitely going to miss the food aspect, because I'm real big on food. And even though I don't really eat a lot, when I do eat, quality of food, it really matters a lot to me. And homemade cooking, I cannot really, nothing else can truly beat homemade cooking, especially from my mom. So that just kind of goes on to show how, I do love my mother. I'm gonna put it out there right now. Even though we've been through like really, really rocky years where most of the years have been spent yelling at each other about education and whatnot. We've had those years before, don't worry. But all in all, the impact that my mother had on me while as I was growing up, as I was going through this journey, this path onto college and after college, I can't deny, even when I was in my bitchy old middle school and early high school self, even then I couldn't deny, deep down in my heart, I couldn't deny that my mother was making a significant impact on me for the better. And even though I was kind of going through those rocky years of puberty, I couldn't deny, well, I already said that. I knew that my mother was was going to be there for me, for worse or better, and I mean, I have to give back to her somehow. So yeah, this is just a little commentary on Mother's Day, and I know some of you guys, or like I just cut this failed commentary, dislike. Please don't. Anyways, I'm sure some of you guys don't really have a mother that you can call your own, and for those of you guys who do have lost their mothers or have just never known your mothers, I remember, for example, a year ago or so, I met someone over Combat Arms, like I never really met before, and I don't really know exactly, like personally, but I did come in contact with him like through email, and we chatted a little bit over email, like going back and forth. I think it was like a 4-month correspondence or something like that through email, and I gradually came to learn that his family is kind of dysfunctional. His mother was he had a single mother. Like, they knew where his dad was, but his dad wasn't right necessarily like the fatherly type. He would only send them money like a month or so. He never really visited his kids. So really, only he and his younger brother had his mother, who worked, I think, like 3-4 different part-time jobs just to keep them, just to make ends meet. They only had their mother to depend on, and I think he in particular, after he was done with school, I think he was also planning on just going on straight to society and getting a job, not even going off to like university, because he lived in Australia, and I'm pretty sure Australia goes by the university terms, not like American college systems. So I mean, I'm a little bit ignorant on that, so please forgive me if I have something wrong there, but I don't know. That case especially, because it was really recent. It was just a year ago. I haven't really talked to him since after the end of our correspondence there. I don't know really what happened to him, because the last I ever heard of him was that he had told me that his younger brother was actually taken away from the state or the government, saying that his mother was unfit to raise him, basically. And that really hit me home, because I was like, well, I'm a younger brother. I mean, my family's basically almost the same as his family, except we're more well off, and I actually have a father to call a father, because he actually lives with us. And what if I was in that guy's shoes? I could be that younger brother who got taken away from the government because they determined that my mother was unfit to take care of their children, and that I don't know what happened to them really. I haven't really talked to him again, and it's just, our correspondence, like our email correspondence, just like shut off, like just out of the blue. Not really out of the blue, but it slowly shut off. Like our correspondence, like our rate of sending emails back and forth to each other was kind of slowed down, and it just died down after in the end. So I don't know what happened to him. I do know his name was Damien, and I really hope that Damien is out there a lot better off than he was before, especially because because it kind of sucks that you're having your younger brother taken away from you. I don't know what my own older brother would have had to go. I don't know what he would have thought if I was taken away. What would he have thought if I was taken away? So I don't know. These things that you go through, it kind of makes you wonder about, like, especially things like Mother's Day. When you celebrate Mother's Day, you can't help, or at least I can't help but think about other people who don't have mothers to call their own. How are they going to celebrate Mother's Day? Like, I've read a study that says that Christmas is like the one time of the year where suicide rates like skyrocket, because Christmas is supposed to be, and the holiday season is supposed to be a time of gathering together, just like Thanksgiving, and like celebrating time with your friends and family, but more so your family. But for people who don't have family call their own, for people who live alone, for people who have fallen out of their families, haven't really come into contact with them, what are they going to feel? It's the same thing with people who don't have mothers on Mother's Day. What are they going to feel? It really, I don't really want to say it pains me, but I can't help but wonder what those people have to go through, what those people would think of Mother's Day. Like, would they be, of course, obviously it differs from person to person, but I definitely know people who don't have mothers and are bitter that, other people are happy, are celebrating Mother's Day because they have mothers. So, their sentiment is, why? Why does life have to be so unfair to them that they don't have mothers to call their own? They've lived maybe a portion or their entire lives maybe without someone to call mom, and all their friends around them have someone to call mom, and thus they're celebrating their time with their moms. I just can't imagine what it would feel like, because obviously I can't. The most I can do is just sympathize with them. But then again, I don't want to give them my pity, because those same people might not want my pity because they don't want to be pitied. If you are trying to understand what I'm trying to get at here. They don't want my pity because, they might think I'm looking down on them, saying like, oh, that's just too bad that you don't have a mother. So it's really complicated for me how I exactly feel about Mother's Day. For one, I'm definitely celebrated because I still do have a mother, even if I didn't have a mother. Because another thing that I really wanted to talk about before, I almost forgot this too, that I wanted to talk about my mother, was that there were at least two incidents that I didn't even know about when they happened, but my mom told me that there were two times where in my recent life, in fact, like even when within high school, that she could have died. Like, she could have outright died, and I wouldn't have been able to have someone to call mom ever again. And those times were, the first time I think it was in like freshman or sophomore year. I think it might have been like middle of middle school. Redundancy. Or I think it was sometime back then. I don't really remember, because once again, I didn't know that they had happened until my mom told me years later, like maybe last year and junior in high school, when I was junior in high school. The first time was when my older brother and I, not me personally, but when my older brother and my mom were driving in LA, around in Los Angeles area, on a really rainy day, and my brother had recently got his driver's license. Actually, it's not recently, but at the time he had only like maybe 2 years of driver's experience, but that's kind of a lot compared to me, because I only have like one. But anyways, I'm going off a tangent. What happened was they had got into a car accident, not with anyone else, but what happened was, because it was raining and my brother kind of ran like a yellow light and kind of skidded to make the turn, but the road was really, really wet, because it was raining a lot on that particular day, and the car lost control of he lost control of his tires. And what had happened was, according to my brother, the car that they were in, big red Ford Expedition, tilted over, and it landed on the right front light, the headlight, and they crashed into either a tree or a signpost. I'm thinking it was a tree, because a signpost is gonna not go down like really easily if you got a fucking Ford Expedition coming straight at it at 40 miles an hour. So I'm thinking it was a tree they crashed into. But anyways, the Ford crashed right where my right on the shotgun seat where my mom was sitting. So what ended up happening was my mom had to get shipped off to the ER, the emergency room, basically, for those guys who don't know what ER stands for. And my brother was completely unharmed because my mom had taken the brunt of it, of the crash into the tree. And our Ford Expedition, he crashed it in an angle and at a speed that our Ford was completely trashed. We got reports from the mechanic that there was no way to salvage our car, so we had just ended up scrapping it and having to buy a new one. But what happened to my mom was she wasn't really that badly hurt if you think about it, but in a sense she was very, very badly hurt. Her skull was, I think, fractured, and there was when they took her out of the car, she was bleeding a lot from her scalp. I think if you put your right hand on top of her head, like right above your right eye, like, I don't know, put your hand there. She was injured on the right side of her head, and she was bleeding a lot. And I think she also got a concussion. I'm not too sure, but they said, my brother told me that when they pulled her out of the car, she was on the verge of like insanity. Like, she was like saying things like, "Oh, protect my God, please protect my sons." Like, she was mumbling like madman status. Then